At one time or another, we've all screamed, cried, or even giggled with excitement at the One Piece anime's most exciting moments. And here, we're going to remind you of them. In this video, we'll talk about the 10 most badass moments of the anime. Let's dive into number 10. Number 10. When Zoro cut Pika in half. As Pika makes his way toward the plateau where King Riku is located, the on-looking Don Quixote underlings cheer him on, and various combatants wonder how they can stop him. Seeing Pika moving toward the king, Elisabello II prepares to use his King Punch, but Zoro stops him. After explaining how Pika will simply reform his body, he asks Elisabello to wait 2 minutes before returning to Olympus and asking him to throw him. Some people firing cannons at Pika are crushed by him, prompting Riku to reveal his location and beg Pika to stop. Riku orders Tank Lepanto and Viola to get everyone to safety while he remains where he is to draw Pika's attack. Across the island, Olympus asks Zoro if he's sure about his plan despite the dangers, but Zoro insists that there's no time for anything else. As Pika begins to attack Riku, Olympus hurls Zoro toward the executive. Zoro coats his sword with Busoshoku Haki and begins a technique, claiming that there is nothing in this world that he cannot cut. Pika tells Riku that he's not fit to be king if he cannot defeat his enemies, and that he failed to protect his country because he loves peace too much. Riku admits that Pika is correct, but cries that he is proud of the fact that he has remained human and will not take another life in order to survive. Laughing, Pika claims that good people like Riku are killed and forgotten by history, but before his attack can connect, Zoro cuts his stone body in half. Pika moves to the top half of his enormous stone body, but Zoro simply cuts that in two, and continues cutting the statue until Pika is forced to emerge. Pika coats his body in Busoshoku Haki and attempts to attack his opponent, while claiming that Zoro can never cut through him. Zoro responds that all he needs is a stronger Haki and cuts Pika down in midair. As Pika is defeated, Elisabello uses his King Punch to blast away the rest of Pika's stone body, bemoaning the fact that he's merely doing cleanup. Number 9. Marineford Battle. Maybe one of the best moments of the entire anime. Maybe the most badass one. Unfortunately, many sad things happened, and it was a major turn in the upcoming events of the One Piece plot. The Summit War of Marineford was a momentous war that took place on the island of Marineford. It opposed the Whitebeard pirates and their allies, led by the Emperor, Edward Whitebeard Newgate, and the entirety of the Marine Headquarters forces, including the 7 Warlords of the Sea, over the execution of the Whitebeard pirates' 2nd Division commander, Portgas D. Ace. Although Luffy was successful in releasing Ace from the Marines' hold, the clash resulted in both Ace and Whitebeard's death, along with many other comrades. Despite the conflict being an overwhelming victory for the Marines, the aftermath of the battle showed an increase of piracy worldwide, due to Whitebeard's final words that confirmed the existence of the One Piece, and led to multiple major power shifts in the world. As a result of the war, both Monkey D. Garp and Sengoku retired. Sengoku pushed for Kuzan to take the position of Fleet Admiral, but many in the world government voted for Sakazuki. It was decided that a duel would take place on a deserted island, and the winner would be made Fleet Admiral. The battle between Aokiji and Akainu lasted for 10 days, and permanently changed the climate of Punk Hazard, the island they fought on. But the result was Sakazuki's win. Kuzan then chose to resign from the Marines. The war caused heavy losses to the Marines, and as such, global military conscription took place worldwide. 2 new admirals, Fujitora and Ryokugyu, took the places of Akainu and Aokiji. While Marineford was still under construction, Monkey D. Luffy invaded the island a second time, and together with Jinbei and Silver's Rayleigh, seemingly performed a burial at sea and rang the Ox-Bell 16 times before escaping. Sakazuki decided to wage war on the Emperors, and thus switched Marine HQ to the G1 base in the New World, creating New Marineford. Edward Newgate and Portgas D. Ace were buried on the island of Sphinx in the New World. Due to Whitebeard's death, all the islands under his protection were quickly snatched up by other pirates. The Whitebeard pirates also fell out of their position in the 4 Emperors, and a year later, after being defeated by the Blackbeard pirates, in what would be later known as the Payback War, the crew disbanded. With Newgate's final words declaring One Piece to be real, thousands of pirates worldwide set out to sea in pursuit of it. Bartolomeo, having kept track of Luffy's journey since Logtown, decided to set sail after seeing his participation in the war. Teach, along with his Blackbeard pirates, quickly became the new emperor, thanks to his dual devil fruit powers and his in-depth knowledge of Newgate's former territories. No way! Number 8. when Luffy challenged the world government. The world government is a federation of over 170 affiliated nations that governs most of the world. It was founded by an alliance of 20 kingdoms 800 years ago, and has since vastly grown in influence. It was at the Enies Lobby arc when Robin was captured by the government. Luffy and his crew were standing firm, challenging them, and in the end, they were saving their partner and new crew member, Nico Robin. This honorable way to stand for their beliefs and for the strong sense of bondship made this moment so badass and motivating. Number 7. The Celestial Hit-and-Run Incident. The Celestial Dragon Hit-and-Run Incident is an event that occurred when Monkey D. Luffy attacked St. Charlos, causing the World Noble to call Admiral Kizaru in retaliation. The event comprises the entire fallout, and marks the first use of the Pacifista prototypes. As the protocol for a Celestial Dragon being attacked states, a Marine Admiral was called to the location. Specifically, Admiral Kizaru was dispatched. At the same time, the Straw Hat Pirates and their allies were able to escape the auction house with the aid of Silver's Rayleigh, but found the outside of the building surrounded by a platoon of Marines. In a competitive manner, Luffy and two of his fellow Supernovas, Eustace Kid and Trafalgar Law, used their Devil Fruit powers to make quick work of the Marines. Reconvening at Shacky's bar, the Straw Hats learned from Rayleigh the truth about Gold Roger's capture, leading to his execution, before deciding to hide for 3 days while Rayleigh coated the Thousand Sunny. Before they could, however, Admiral Kizaru finally arrived, accompanied by a warship and the newly completed Pacifista prototypes. He then began hunting the members of the 11 supernovas present on the archipelago, who were trying to evacuate. Across the archipelago, the supernovas battled squads of Marines. The Straw Hat Pirates battled a Pacifista, but as they celebrated their victory, they were attacked by a second one, this time accompanied by Sentomaru. The pirates prepared to flee, but Kizaru arrived to stop them, followed by Bartholomew Kuma. When Rayleigh assisted the pirates and delayed Kizaru, Kuma sent the Straw Hats across the globe, separating them and ending the incident. Number 6. Zoro and Kuma. Nothing happened. During the first meeting between Zoro and Bartholomew Kuma, Zoro was overwhelmed by this last one. Kuma asked Zoro if he was able to endure Luffy's pain and support it like he's doing all the time. Zoro accepted and took the pain bubble Kuma had extracted from Luffy. His body was twitching and writhing in pain, but he remained standing, proud and strong. When Sanji arrived, he saw Zoro standing motionless in a pool of blood and asked him what had happened. Zoro replied in a strong but tired voice, "Nothing happened." Number 5. Luffy in the Fishman Kingdom against 100,000 fishmen. In the Fishman Island, Luffy had a Feta Hody Jones, the villain trying to rebel and conquer the country. At one point, Luffy came face to face with 50,000 fishmen and neutralized them with haki, immobilizing them and knocking them unconscious with a single gesture. Hody Jones realized that he wasn't dealing with a weakling and that he'd have a tough time of it. Number 4. Trafalgar D. Law and his fight on Punk Hazard. When Trafalgar decided to go to war against Don Quixote, he attacked the Punk Hazard Island with Luffy. That's where he contacted him and made a secret alliance with him. A short time after, he went to attack the laboratory and he literally cut the island in two during the fight against Virgo. He cuts Virgo and the island at the same time. Luffy! Number 3. The coming of Luffy against the three admirals at Marineford battle. To save Ace, Luffy rushed to Marineford. In his rush, he joined the battle and spotted his brother, but also the obstacle he had to overcome to save him, the three admirals. So he ripped the main mast of a ship and sprang up in front of the three admirals, ready to do battle. Ace lost his voice in astonishment. After that, Luffy threw the main mast and started to battle against the admirals. Number 2. When Shanks ended the Marineford battle. At the end of the Marineford battle, when Kobe was on the verge of being killed by a Kainu, Shanks made his appearance. He talked to the Marines and advised them to stop the battle and allow them to bury the ones who passed away, else they will enter the battle and only create pointless casualties. Sengoku accepted to stop the battle, and this way put a term to this tragic act. Shanks was the essential trigger in the end of the Marineford, and the final one. Number 1. I am Whitebeard. One of the most epic moments in Marineford, and perhaps in the One Piece anime, is when Whitebeard stood up, facing an army of naval soldiers, and in a burst of combativeness cried out, "I am Whitebeard." Following this cry, he swept aside hundreds of other soldiers with an earthquake and a blow from his weapon, cutting his way through the enemy army with a hole in his torso. He was, without a doubt, the most powerful man of his time. This is a video about the 10 most badass moments in the magnificent One Piece anime. Of course, there are more, but to see them, you'll have to subscribe to our channel and discover the next video. See you soon!